Have you ever paused to reflect on the weight you carry each day? The silent burden of expectations, the relentless pursuit of goals, the endless quest to control outcomes, it all accumulates like a storm within the soul. And in the quiet moments when the world stops demanding, do you feel the ache of something deeper, the longing for peace, for rest, for assurance that all is well? If you have felt this, then you are not alone. We have all walked this path, caught between the desire to achieve and the yearning to trust, between the need to control and the call to let go. What if I told you that the struggle you feel is not the natural state of your being? That the universe in all its majesty and infinite wisdom never intended for you to fight so fiercely against its flow. You were created to thrive, to live abundantly, to embrace the ease of a life aligned with divine order. And yet we often find ourselves trapped in a cycle of worry, fear, and resistance, as though our destiny depends solely on our relentless striving. But here lies the beautiful paradox: the very life you seek is waiting for you on the other side of surrender. Close your eyes for a moment and picture this: a river flowing gently through a lush, green valley. Its waters are clear and calm, moving effortlessly toward their destination. The river does not resist the bends in its path or the rocks in its way. It simply flows, trusting that its course is guided by a force greater than itself. Now imagine that you are the river. What would your life look like if you stopped fighting the current and trusted the journey instead? For so long I lived like many of you may be living now, gripping tightly to every plan, overthinking every decision, and fearing every unknown. I believed that success was a result of relentless effort and control, that if I loosened my grip, everything would fall apart. But in my quiet moments, I began to question this belief. Could it be that my need to control was the very thing holding me back? Could it be that my fear of the unknown was keeping me from the blessings that awaited just beyond the horizon? These questions led me to an undeniable truth: the universe is not chaotic, it is perfectly ordered. Every star in the sky, every wave in the ocean, and every breath you take is part of a divine symphony. This same intelligence that spins the planets in their orbits and turns the seasons in their time is also at work in your life. Do you trust it? Or have you allowed the noise of the world to drown out the gentle whispers of this truth? There is a sacred power in surrender, a power that defies logic yet transforms lives. To surrender is not to give up. It is to give in to a force that knows better, sees farther, and loves deeper than we ever could. It is to step out of the prison of fear and into the freedom of faith. Faith that the universe is working for you, not against you. Faith that every obstacle is a stepping stone, every delay a divine detour, and every unanswered prayer a blessing in disguise. But let me ask you, why is it so hard to trust? Why do we cling so desperately to control, even when it drains us of joy and peace? Perhaps it is because we have forgotten who we are. We see ourselves as separate from the divine, as mere mortals struggling against the tides of fate. Yet nothing could be further from the truth. You are not separate from the universe, you are a part of it. The same creative power that formed the galaxies dwells within you, and when you align with it, miracles become your natural state. Consider the lilies of the field. They do not toil or spin, yet they are adorned in a splendor greater than any king's. The birds of the air neither sow nor reap, yet they are provided for each day. If the universe so carefully tends to these, how much more will it care for you? To relax and trust the universe is not a passive act, it is an active expression of faith in this divine care. It is a declaration that you believe in a higher plan, even when the road ahead is unclear. Think about the peace that comes with trust. Imagine waking up each morning not with a heart full of anxiety, but with a soul anchored in the assurance that all is unfolding as it should. Picture yourself walking through life with a quiet confidence, knowing that every step you take is guided, every decision you make is supported, and every dream you hold is nurtured by the hands of the divine. Wouldn't that be freedom? Wouldn't that be the life you were created to live? The truth is, the universe does not require your struggle. It requires your cooperation. It asks not for your worry, but for your willingness. When you relax into its flow, You align yourself with a power that moves mountains, calms storms, and brings forth miracles. This is not just a poetic idea, it is a living reality available to you the moment you choose to trust. And so I invite you to take a deep breath. Release the tension in your shoulders, the weight in your heart, and the doubts in your mind. With every exhale, let go of the need to control. And with every inhale, welcome the peace of surrender. This is how you begin the journey of relaxing and trusting the universe. Not by doing more, but by being more aligned, more open, and more faithful. When you learn to trust in this way, you will find that life does not simply happen to you, it happens for you. The challenges you face will no longer feel like burdens, but like blessings in disguise. The waiting will no longer feel like wasting, but like preparation. And the dreams that once seemed impossible will begin to unfold before your eyes, not because you forced them, but because you allowed them. So, are you ready to step into this freedom? Are you ready to trust the universe and let it guide you to the life you were meant to live? If so, then let us explore together the steps to relax and trust, for they hold the key to a life of peace, purpose, and profound joy. Write the perfect title for this speech: Surrender to Divine Timing. There is a profound peace in understanding that everything in life happens at its appointed time. Yet how often do we find ourselves wrestling with impatience, frustrated that our desires seem out of reach, or doubting the promise of better days because they haven't yet materialized? The truth is, this impatience stems not from a lack of ambition, but from a lack of trust in the perfect timing of the Creator who governs all things. Consider this: the sun rises without fail each morning, but never a moment before its time. The stars illuminate the night sky, appearing precisely when the darkness calls them forth. Seasons change in their divine order: spring blossoms, summer thrives, autumn fades, and winter rests, all without our intervention. If the universe operates with such precision, can we not trust that our lives, too, are unfolding exactly as they should? The scriptures remind us, to everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. These words are not merely poetic, they are a promise. They assure us that our lives are not random or chaotic, but are intricately woven into the divine tapestry of creation. Every delay, every detour, and every unanswered prayer is not a denial, but a part of a greater design that we may not yet comprehend. Imagine a farmer planting seeds in the soil. He does not anxiously dig them up each day to check their progress, nor does he despair when he sees no immediate sprout. Instead, he trusts the process, understanding that growth takes time. He knows that beneath the surface, invisible to the eye, the seed is breaking open, rooting itself deeply into the earth before it can rise toward the sun. What if we approached our dreams, our prayers, and our goals with the same faith? What if we believed that even in the silence, the Creator is at work, orchestrating everything for our good? Surrendering to divine timing does not mean abandoning your desires or resigning yourself to passivity. On the contrary, it requires active faith, a faith that continues to believe even when there is no visible evidence, a faith that says, I trust that what is meant for me will come to me, not a moment too soon or too late. This is not blind hope, it is the kind of trust that rests in the knowledge of a higher power's wisdom and love. Have you ever reflected on the beauty of hindsight? How often do we look back on our lives and realize that the things we once longed for, prayed for, or fought for came to us at the exact moment we were ready to receive them, or that the things we thought we couldn't live without were withheld to make room for something far greater? These moments are not coincidences, they are reflections of divine timing at work. The difficulty, of course, lies in the waiting. Waiting tests our faith, stretches our patience, and humbles our hearts. It is in these moments of waiting that we must lean into the sacred practice of surrender. To surrender is to release the illusion of control and acknowledge that there is one who knows better, sees farther, and loves deeper than we can imagine. It is to say, not my will, but thine be done. This surrender does not come easily. Our human nature craves certainty and control, and the unknown can feel like a void too vast to navigate. But here is the paradox of surrender: the more we resist, the heavier our burdens become. Yet, the moment we let go, we find a peace that surpasses all understanding. It is as if the weight we have been carrying was never ours to bear in the first place. Think of the story of Joseph in the Bible. Sold into slavery by his brothers, falsely accused and imprisoned, Joseph's life seemed to unravel at every turn. Yet through it all, he trusted in the divine plan. Years later, when he rose to power and saved nations from famine, it became clear that every hardship, every delay, and every setback had prepared him for his destiny. What if Joseph had given up in the waiting? What if he had let bitterness or despair consume him? His story reminds us that divine timing often requires us to endure seasons of uncertainty so that we may grow into the people we are meant to be. In our own lives, surrendering to divine timing might mean releasing the timelines we have imposed on ourselves. It might mean accepting that the relationship we long for, the career we aspire to, or the healing we seek will come not when we demand it, but when it is divinely appointed. This surrender is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to our faith. It declares that we trust the Creator's plan more than our own. Let us also remember the words of Jesus: "Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these." The lilies do not strive or struggle, they simply grow in accordance with their design. In the same way, we are called to trust that the one who clothes the lilies and feeds the birds will also fulfill the promises made to us. As you reflect on your life, ask yourself, what am I holding on to too tightly? What timelines have I created that are causing me stress or anxiety? And most importantly, am I willing to release these things into the hands of the one who holds the stars in place? Surrendering to divine timing does not mean giving up on your dreams. It means entrusting them to the care of the universe, knowing that they will come to fruition in their season. When you align yourself with this truth, you will find a peace that no earthly achievement can provide. You will learn to rest in the knowledge that all things, yes, all things are working together for your good. 2. Cultivate inner stillness. In a world that moves at an unrelenting pace, filled with noise, distraction, and endless demands, the idea of cultivating inner stillness can feel almost foreign. Yet, it is in this stillness that we find the voice of the divine, the gentle guidance that leads us toward peace and purpose. Inner stillness is not merely the absence of noise. It is the presence of something far greater, a sacred connection to the Creator who speaks in whispers, not shouts. Consider this: when Elijah sought the voice of God, it was not in the mighty wind, nor the earthquake, nor the fire that he found it. It was in the still small voice. This moment teaches us a profound truth. The divine does not compete for our attention amidst the chaos. It waits for us to quiet our minds and open our hearts so that we may hear its gentle call. But how often do we allow ourselves to be still enough to hear it? Stillness is more than silence. It is an intentional pause, a conscious effort to step away from the noise of the world and enter the sanctuary of our inner being. It is a practice, a discipline, and a form of worship. Through stillness, we align the jaws with the rhythm of the universe, grounding our spirit in the assurance that we are never alone, never abandoned, and always held by the one who created us. Imagine a calm lake at dawn, its surface smooth and undisturbed, reflecting the heavens above. When the waters are still, they reveal the clarity of the sky, the beauty of the stars, and the majesty of the rising sun. But when the waters are restless, disturbed by the winds or our own hands, the reflection becomes distorted. In the same way, our inner being, our soul, reflects the wisdom and presence of the Creator most clearly when it is at rest. How then do we cultivate this inner stillness in a world so full of demands? The answer lies in creating intentional moments of quiet. These moments need not be grand or lengthy, they simply require your presence. A few minutes of silent reflection in the morning, a pause to pray or meditate during the day, or a moment of gratitude before sleep, all these practices invite stillness into our lives. Let us not forget that even Jesus, in the midst of his ministry, often withdrew to quiet places to pray. He who carried the weight of the world on his shoulders recognized the necessity of stillness. His example reminds us that no matter how busy or burdened we may feel, there is always time to pause and reconnect with the divine. But stillness is not only about retreating, it is also about listening. Too often our prayers are filled with requests and our minds with worries, leaving little room for the answers we seek. In stillness, we are reminded to be like Samuel, who, upon hearing the call of God, responded, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." To listen is an act of faith, a demonstration of trust that the Creator has something to say, something we need to hear. There is power in this practice of listening. It transforms our relationship with the divine from one of striving to one of communion. In the stillness, we begin to understand that the answers we seek are often already within us, placed there by the one who knows the desires of our hearts. The stillness is not empty, it is filled with the presence of God, who meets us in our quiet places. Let us also reflect on the example of Mary, who chose to sit at the feet of Jesus, while her sister Martha busied herself with tasks. When Martha complained, Jesus gently reminded her that Mary had chosen the better part, one that would not be taken from her. This story is a profound reminder that our worth is not found in our busyness, but in our ability to be present with the divine. Stillness also has the power to calm the storms within us. When Jesus and his disciples were caught in a storm at sea, the disciples were overcome with fear, forgetting who was in the boat with them. But Jesus stood and spoke, "Peace, be still," and the winds and waves obeyed. In our moments of inner turmoil, we too can hear these words, spoken not just to the storm but to our hearts, "Peace, be still." In the practice of stillness, we also confront the truth about ourselves. The distractions of the world often keep us from facing our fears, doubts, and insecurities. But in stillness, we are laid bare before the Creator, who sees us fully and loves us completely. This can be uncomfortable, even daunting, but it is also profoundly healing. For it is in these moments of vulnerability that we are reminded of our worth, our purpose, and our place in the grand design. Stillness, then, is not just a practice, it is a posture. It is a way of living that prioritizes connection over chaos, presence over performance, and faith over fear. It is a declaration that no matter what the world demands of us, we will not lose sight of the one who sustains us. So let us commit to cultivating this sacred stillness. Let us seek the quiet places where we can hear the voice of the divine, feel the peace that surpasses all understanding, and rest in the assurance that we are loved beyond measure. In doing so, we align ourselves with the Creator's plan, allowing His wisdom to guide us and His presence to strengthen us. In stillness, we are renewed, refreshed, and reminded of the truth that we are never alone. 3. Embrace gratitude. Gratitude is the language of the soul, the bridge that connects us to the divine. It is not merely an act of politeness or social expectation, it is a spiritual practice that shifts our focus from what we lack to the abundance that surrounds us. When we embrace gratitude, we align ourselves with the Creator's design, recognizing His hand in every blessing, both great and small. Gratitude transforms the way we see the world and deepens our trust in the unfolding of His plan. In a world that constantly urges us to chase after more, gratitude calls us to pause and reflect on what we already have. It is so easy to become consumed by the things we desire, to dwell on the unanswered prayers and unmet goals. But the scriptures remind us to give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you. Gratitude, then, is not conditional. It is not dependent on everything going our way. It is a deliberate choice to acknowledge the goodness of God, even in the midst of uncertainty. When we embrace gratitude, we affirm that life itself is a gift. The breath in our lungs, the sun that rises each day, the relationships that bring us joy, none of these are owed to us. They are manifestations of divine grace, reminders of a Creator who delights in giving abundantly. Yet how often do we overlook these daily miracles? How often do we focus on what is missing rather than the countless blessings already in our hands? Consider the story of the Israelites in the wilderness. Despite being delivered from slavery and provided with manna from heaven, rumbled and longed for what they had left behind. Their lack of gratitude blinded them to the miracles unfolding before their very eyes. How often are we like them? How often do we fail to see the manna in our own lives because we are fixated on what we do not have? Gratitude is a spiritual discipline that requires us to see with new eyes. It invites us to look beyond our circumstances and recognize the fingerprints of the divine in every corner of our lives. This perspective does not come naturally, it must be cultivated. And yet, when we practice gratitude consistently, it changes us from the inside out. It softens our hearts, strengthens our faith, and fills us with a peace that transcends understanding. Think of the 10 lepers who were healed by Jesus. Only one returned to give thanks, and to him, Jesus said, "Your faith has made you whole." Wholeness comes not only from the blessing itself, but from our response to it. Gratitude completes the circle of grace, acknowledging the giver as much as the gift. When we embrace gratitude, we draw closer to the heart of God, for we recognize Him as the source of every good and perfect thing. Gratitude also has the power to transform our trials. It may seem counterintuitive, but even in our struggles, there is reason to give thanks. Every challenge, every delay, and every disappointment carries within it the seeds of growth and transformation. When we view our trials through the lens of gratitude, we begin to see them not as obstacles but as opportunities to strengthen our faith, refine our character, and draw closer to the Creator. This perspective is beautifully illustrated in the story of Job. Despite losing everything, Job declared, "The Lord gave and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." His gratitude was not rooted in his circumstances, but in his unwavering trust in God's sovereignty. Job's story reminds us that gratitude is not about denying our pain, but about trusting that even in the darkest moments, God is at work for our good. Gratitude is also a powerful antidote to fear and anxiety. When we focus on what we are grateful for, we shift our attention away from what we lack and toward what we have. This shift creates space for faith to grow. For when we see the abundance already present in our lives, we are reminded of God's faithfulness. If He has provided for us in the past, can we not trust Him to provide for us in the future? Practicing gratitude is a simple yet profound act. It begins with small, intentional moments of whispered prayer of thanks in the morning, a quiet reflection on the blessings of the day, or a written list of things for which you are grateful. These practices may seem modest, but they have the power to reshape our hearts and minds. They remind us that every good thing we experience is a gift from the Creator, a testament to His love and care. Gratitude is also contagious. When we live in a state of thankfulness, we inspire others to do the same. Our joy becomes a light in the darkness, a reflection of the divine grace that sustains us. In this way, gratitude not only blesses us, but also blesses those around us, creating a ripple effect that spreads far beyond our own lives. Let us also consider the example of Jesus, who, before feeding the 5,000, gave thanks for the loaves and fishes. His gratitude preceded the miracle, showing us that thanksgiving is not just a response to blessing, but a catalyst for it. When we embrace gratitude, we open the door for the Creator to work in and through us, multiplying our blessings in ways we cannot imagine. So, let us choose gratitude not as a fleeting emotion, but as a way of life. Let us give thanks not only for what we can see, but also for what is yet to come. For in gratitude, we find the strength to trust the Creator's plan, the peace to rest in His timing, and the joy to embrace each moment as a gift. Gratitude is not merely an act, it is a posture of the heart, one that draws us ever closer to the divine and fills our lives with meaning and purpose. 4. Let go of fear and doubt. Fear and doubt are two of the greatest barriers to trusting the universe and the divine plan for our lives. They whisper lies into our hearts, convincing us that we are alone, that we are unworthy, or that the path ahead is too uncertain. Yet these voices are not rooted in truth. They are illusions that cloud our vision and weaken our faith. To relax and trust the universe, we must learn to let go of fear and doubt, replacing them with courage and unwavering trust in the Creator's plan. The scriptures remind us repeatedly, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God." These words are not mere reassurance, they are a command and a promise. Fear may come naturally to us, but it is not part of our divine design. The Creator did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. When we let go of fear and doubt, we step into the fullness of this truth, aligning ourselves with the strength and peace that come from God. Consider the story of Peter walking on water. When Jesus called him out of the boat, Peter took those first steps with faith, his eyes fixed on the Lord. But the moment he allowed fear to creep in, he began to sink. This story is a powerful reminder that fear is not just a feeling, it is a choice to focus on the storm rather than the one who owns it. When we fix our eyes on the Creator and trust in His power, fear loses its grip, and we find the courage to walk on the waters of our own lives. But how do we let go of fear when it feels so real, so overwhelming? The first step is to acknowledge its presence. Fear thrives in secrecy, growing stronger when we ignore or suppress it. By bringing our fears into the light, we begin to rob them of their power. Speak your fears aloud in prayer, naming them one by one. As you do, remind yourself that there is no fear too great for the Creator to overcome. The act of naming your fears is an act of surrender, a declaration that you trust God to carry what you cannot. Letting go of doubt is equally important. Doubt, like fear, often stems from a lack of trust in the Creator's plan. It tempts us to question His timing, His methods, and even His presence. But doubt is not a sign of failure. It is a natural part of the human experience. Even the great figures of faith wrestled with doubt. When Thomas doubted the resurrection, Jesus did not rebuke him but invited him to touch his wounds and believe. This moment reminds us that doubt is not something to be ashamed of, but something to bring before the Creator, who meets us in our uncertainty and strengthens our faith. One of the most effective ways to let go of doubt is to reflect on the Creator's faithfulness in your past. Think of the times when you were afraid or unsure, and yet the way forward was made clear. Remember the prayers that were answered, the obstacles that were overcome, and the blessings that came in ways you could never have imagined. These memories are not just comforting, they are evidence of the Creator's unchanging nature. If He has been faithful before, He will be faithful again. Letting go of fear and doubt also requires us to guard our minds and hearts. The world is filled with messages that feed our insecurities and magnify our uncertainties. Social media, news, and even well-meaning people can plant seeds of fear and doubt if we are not careful. Instead, fill your mind with truth found in Scripture, in prayer, and in the quiet assurance of the divine presence. Meditate on verses like, "The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear?" Let these words take root in your heart, displacing fear and doubt with faith and confidence. Prayer is another powerful tool for releasing fear and doubt. When we pray, we are not just speaking to the Creator, we are opening ourselves to His peace. Philippians reminds us, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." This peace is not something we manufacture. It is a gift that comes when we lay our burdens at the feet of the Creator and trust Him to carry them. Faith is the antidote to fear and doubt. It is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. Faith does not eliminate challenges, but it changes the way we face them. When we trust in the Creator's plan, we no longer see obstacles as insurmountable, we see them as opportunities for growth and transformation. We no longer fear the unknown, for we know that the one who holds the stars also holds our future. Let us also remember that we are not alone in this journey. The Creator has placed people in our lives to encourage us, to remind us of His promises, and to walk alongside us in times of doubt. Seek out those who will speak truth into your life, who will pray with you and for you, and who will help you keep your eyes fixed on the divine. Fear and doubt may never disappear entirely, but they do not have to define our lives. When we let go of these burdens, we make room for faith, peace, and the assurance that we are held in the hands of a loving Creator. As we release fear and doubt, we step into a life of freedom, trusting that the universe and the divine plan are always working for our good. 5. Visualize with faith, not force. Visualization is a powerful tool, a divine gift that allows us to see with the eyes of faith what has not yet come to pass. It is the language of creation, a way to align our thoughts, desires, and intentions with the infinite possibilities of the universe. Yet for many, visualization becomes a source of frustration because they approach it with force rather than faith. They try to will their desires into existence, forgetting that true manifestation is not a product of human effort but of divine alignment. The scriptures remind us faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. This verse captures the essence of visualization. When we visualize with faith, we are not merely daydreaming or wishing, we are engaging in an act of spiritual creation. We are seeing in our minds and hearts what the Creator has already ordained for us, trusting that it will manifest in its appointed time. But visualization with faith requires a shift in perspective. It is not about striving or forcing outcomes. It is about surrendering to the divine flow and trusting that the universe is conspiring in our favor. Imagine a gardener planting seeds in the soil. He does not dig up the seeds every day to check their progress, nor does he shout at them to grow faster. Instead, he plants them with care, waters them with faith, and trusts that the process will unfold as it should. Visualization with faith works in much the same way. We plant the seeds of our desires in the fertile of our minds and hearts, nurture them with trust, and release them to the care of the Creator. This principle is beautifully illustrated in the story of Abram, who was promised descendants as numerous as the stars. Though he and Sarah were well past the age of childbearing, Abraham did not waver in his faith. Instead, he believed, visualizing the promise as though it were already fulfilled. His unwavering trust in the Creator's word allowed him to walk in alignment with the divine plan, even when the evidence before him suggested otherwise. Like Abraham, we too are called to hold our visions with faith, trusting in the promises of the Creator, even when the journey seems uncertain. To visualize with faith, we must first clarify our intentions. What is it that you truly desire? What dream has the Creator placed in your heart? Take time to reflect on these questions in prayer or quiet contemplation. As you do, allow your desires to align with the greater purpose for which you were created. When your intentions are rooted in love, service, and alignment with divine will, they carry a power that transcends human effort. Once your vision is clear, bring it to life in your mind's eye. Picture it vividly as though it has already come to pass. See yourself living the life you desire, not as a distant possibility but as a present reality. Feel the joy, peace, and fulfillment that accompany this vision. This act of visualization is not a mere exercise in imagination. It is a spiritual practice that activates your faith and aligns your energy with the divine flow. But here is where many falter. They visualize with force rather than faith. They hold their visions tightly, clinging to them with a sense of desperation or control. They set rigid timelines, demanding that their desires manifest on their terms rather than trusting in divine timing. This approach creates resistance, for it is rooted in fear rather than trust. True visualization requires us to hold our visions lightly, releasing them to the care of the Creator and trusting that they will manifest in the right way and at the right time. The story of Joseph offers a profound lesson in this regard. As a young man, Joseph had a vision of greatness, a dream in which he saw himself in a position of influence and authority. But the journey to that vision was anything but straightforward. Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and imprisoned for a crime he did not commit, Joseph could have easily abandoned his dream, yet he held on to it with faith, trusting that the Creator's plan was unfolding even in the midst of adversity. In the end, Joseph's vision was fulfilled in a way that not only blessed him but also saved countless lives. Another key to visualizing with faith is gratitude. When we give thanks for our visions as though they have already manifested, we align ourselves with the energy of abundance and trust. Gratitude is a declaration of faith, a way of saying, I trust that the Creator is working on my behalf, and I am already thankful for what is to come. This practice not only strengthens our faith, but also opens our hearts on to receive the blessings that are already present in our lives. Prayer and meditation are powerful tools to support your visualization practice. Use prayer to affirm your trust in the Creator's plan and to seek guidance in aligning your desires with divine will. Use meditation to quiet your mind, clear away doubt, and connect with the still, small voice within. In these moments of stillness, you may find that your vision becomes clearer, your faith stronger, and your trust deeper. Let us remember that visualization with faith is not passive. It requires us to take inspired action, to move toward our dreams with confidence and joy. The Creator often works through us, guiding our steps and opening doors that we could not have imagined. As the scriptures remind us, faith without works is dead. When we act in alignment with our visions, trusting in the Creator's guidance, we become co-creators in the divine plan. To visualize with faith, then, is to embrace a partnership with the Creator. It is to see with spiritual eyes, trust with an open heart, and act with unwavering confidence. It is to let go of control and allow the universe to work in its mysterious and miraculous ways. When we visualize with faith, we step into a life of trust, joy, and alignment, knowing that the Creator's plans for us are greater than anything we could ever imagine. Point 6. Take inspired action. Faith and trust in the divine are not passive states of being, they are catalysts for movement. When we relax and trust the universe, we do so not by sitting idly and waiting, but by taking inspired action in alignment with the Creator's plan. This action is not driven by fear or desperation, but by a sense of purpose and guidance. It is the outward expression of our inward trust, the evidence of our faith in the promises of the divine. The scriptures remind us faith without works is dead. This verse does not diminish the importance of faith. Rather, it emphasizes the partnership between faith and action. Trusting the Creator means believing that we are part of His plan, that our hands, our minds, and our efforts are instruments through which He works. Inspired action is not about striving to force outcomes, it is about moving forward with a heart aligned to the will of God and a spirit attuned to His guidance. But how do we discern what actions are inspired? The key lies in our connection to the divine. When we cultivate a relationship with the Creator through prayer, meditation, and reflection, we begin to hear the gentle nudges of the Spirit within us. These nudges may come as a thought, a feeling, or a sense of clarity about the next step we should take. They are not born of fear or anxiety, but of peace and assurance, a quiet knowing that we are being led. Consider the story of Noah, who was called by God to build an ark in preparation for a flood. The task was monumental, and the circumstances were incomprehensible. Yet Noah acted in obedience to the divine instruction. He did not wait for the rain to fall to begin his work. He trusted the Creator's guidance and took inspired action long before the storm arrived. His faith, coupled with his action, became the means by which he and his family were saved. Noah's story reminds us that inspired action often requires us to move forward even when we do not fully understand the path ahead. Taking inspired action also requires us to let go of fear and doubt. When Moses stood before the Red Sea with Pharaoh's army closing in behind him, it would have been easy to succumb to panic. Yet at the command of God, Moses lifted his staff, parting the waters and creating a way where there was none. This act of faith and obedience demonstrates that inspired action is not about having all the answers. It is about trusting the one who does. It is about stepping out in faith, even when the way forward is unclear, believing that the Creator will make a path where there seems to be none. Inspired action is always aligned with the values of the Creator: love, service, and integrity. It is not driven by selfish ambition or the desire for control, but by a desire to fulfill our purpose and contribute to the greater good. This alignment ensures that our actions are not only effective but also meaningful. When we act in accordance with divine principles, we become co-creators with the universe, channels through which the Creator's will is done on earth. Think of David, who faced Goliath with nothing but a sling and a few stones. His actions were not reckless or impulsive. They were inspired by his unwavering faith in God. David understood that his strength did not come from his own abilities, but from the power of the Creator working through him. His victory was not just a testament to his courage, but a demonstration of what happens when we take inspired action in alignment with divine will. Another important aspect of inspired action is timing. While faith calls us to move, it also teaches us to wait for the right moment. Acting prematurely or out of impatience can lead to unnecessary struggles. Inspired action is always guided by divine timing, a rhythm that we can sense when we remain connected to the Creator. Like Esther, who waited for the perfect moment to speak to the king and save her people, we must learn to trust that the right opportunity will present itself when we are ready and the time is right. To take inspired action, we must also be willing to step outside our comfort zones. The Creator often calls us to places of growth, places that stretch our faith and deepen our trust. Abraham's journey to the promised land required him to leave behind all that was familiar, to walk into the unknown with only God's promise to guide him. This willingness to act despite uncertainty is a hallmark of inspired action. It demonstrates our belief that the Creator's plans for us are good and that He will equip us for every step of the journey. Prayer is an essential part of taking inspired action. Before we move, we must seek the Creator's guidance, asking for clarity, wisdom, and strength. Prayer aligns our hearts with the will of God, ensuring that our actions are not driven by ego or fear, but by faith and love. In moments of uncertainty, prayer serves as a compass, pointing us toward the next step we should take. Let us also remember the words of Jesus: ask, and it will be given to you; seek, and you will find; knock, and the door will be opened to you. These actions, asking, seeking, knocking, are all forms of inspired action. They require us to engage with the world, to pursue our dreams, and to take steps toward the life we desire, all while trusting that the Creator is guiding our efforts. Inspired action is not about doing more, it is about doing what matters. It is about aligning our actions with the divine, trusting that as we move forward in faith, the universe will move with us. When we take inspired action, we become active participants in the Creator's plan, living lives that are not only purposeful, but also deeply fulfilling. Through inspired action, we express our trust in the universe and our faith in the one who holds it all together. 7. Recognize the signs. The Creator is constantly communicating with us, guiding us, and offering reassurance that we are on the right path. Yet how often do we overlook these signs, dismissing them as coincidence or random occurrences? Recognizing the signs from the universe is not merely an act of observation, it is a practice of spiritual awareness, a willingness to tune into the subtle ways in which the divine speaks to us. The scriptures remind us the heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of His hands. From the rising of the sun to the intricate patterns of a snowflake, the natural world is filled with signs of the Creator's presence and care. These signs are not limited to grand, miraculous events. They often appear in the quiet moments, in the small details of our daily lives. A kind word from a stranger, an unexpected opportunity, a sudden sense of peace, each of these can be a whisper from the divine, guiding us toward our purpose. Recognizing the signs requires a heart that is open and attuned to the divine. It is not about seeking signs out of desperation, but about being present and receptive to the ways in which the Creator reveals Himself. Just as a shepherd recognizes the voice of his sheep, we too must cultivate a relationship with the Creator that allows us to discern His voice amidst the noise of the world. Consider the story of the Magi who followed a star to find the Christ child. They recognized the star as a divine sign, a guide that would lead them to their destiny. Yet following the star required faith, patience, and perseverance. It required them to trust in something they could not fully understand. Their journey reminds us that signs are not always accompanied by immediate clarity. Sometimes they call us to step forward in faith, trusting that the way will become clear as we walk it. To recognize the signs, we must first quiet the distractions of our minds and the chaos of the world. The Creator often speaks in whispers, and it is in the stillness that we hear Him most clearly. This is why prayer and meditation are essential practices for recognizing signs. They create a space of silence and surrender where we can tune into the divine and become more aware of His guidance. One of the most profound ways the Creator communicates with us is through the people around us. A friend's encouragement, a mentor's wisdom, or even a stranger's act of kindness can be a sign that we are being guided and supported. These moments are not random, they are divinely orchestrated reminders that we are never alone. When we approach our relationships with gratitude and openness, we become more attuned to the ways in which the Creator uses others to speak to us. The scriptures are another powerful source of signs and guidance. Often the answers we seek are already written in the Word, waiting for us to discover them. Reflecting on the stories of faith, perseverance, and divine intervention can illuminate our own paths and provide clarity in moments of doubt. The psalmist writes, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." This verse reminds us that the Creator's word is not just a source of comfort, but a guide that helps us navigate the complexities of life. Recognizing the signs also involves paying attention to our inner knowing, the intuition that comes from the Spirit within us. This inner voice is not driven by fear or doubt, but by peace and confidence. When we feel a sense of clarity or a deep conviction about a decision, it is often a sign that the Creator is guiding us from within. Trusting this inner knowing requires us to stay connected to the divine, to pray for discernment, and to act with faith when the path becomes clear. Nature is another profound source of signs. The Creator's fingerprints are visible in every sunrise, every tree, and every ripple of water. The changing seasons remind us of the rhythm of life, the cycles of growth, rest, and renewal. A rainbow after a storm, a gentle breeze on a hot day, or the song of a bird can serve as reminders of the Creator's presence and promises. These signs are not just beautiful, they are sacred, calling us to pause, reflect, and reconnect with the divine. Sometimes signs come in the form of obstacles or challenges. While it may seem counterintuitive, these moments can be powerful indicators that the Creator is redirecting us or teaching us something essential. Joseph's journey from the pit to the palace was marked by setbacks and trials, yet each step was part of the divine plan that ultimately led to his purpose. Recognizing signs in the midst of struggle requires us to trust that the Creator's plans are always for our good, even when the path is difficult. Dreams are another way in which the Creator communicates with us. Throughout the scriptures, we see examples of divine messages delivered through dreams. Joseph's dreams of his future, Daniel's interpretations of visions, and the angel's message to Joseph, the earthly father of Jesus. While not every dream carries a profound message, being open to the possibility allows us to discern when the Creator is speaking to us in this way. Recognizing the signs is also about gratitude. When we approach life with a spirit of thankfulness, we become more aware of the blessings and guidance that surround us. Gratitude shifts our focus from what is lacking to what is present, opening our eyes to the ways in which the Creator is already at work in our lives. Recognizing the signs is about trust. It is about believing that the Creator is always communicating with us, always guiding us, and always working for our good. It is about letting go of the need for certainty and embracing the mystery of the divine, knowing that His ways are higher than our ways and His thoughts higher than our thoughts. When we open our hearts to the signs around us, we step into a deeper relationship with the Creator, one that fills our lives with meaning, purpose, and peace. As we draw this journey to a close, Let us pause and reflect on the wisdom that the Creator has woven into our hearts today. The art of relaxing and trusting the universe is not about relinquishing responsibility or abandoning effort. It is about aligning ourselves with the divine rhythm of life, a rhythm that has been set in motion since the beginning of time. It is about recognizing that we are not alone, that we are deeply connected to a loving Creator who holds all things in His hands, including our futures. We began by surrendering to divine timing, understanding that every season has its purpose, every delay its lesson. Like a seed planted in fertile soil, we trust the process, knowing that growth and fulfillment come not when we demand it, but when the time is right. We cultivated inner stillness, creating space for the whispers of the divine to guide us, and embraced gratitude as a transformative practice that aligns us with abundance and peace. Through letting go of fear and doubt, we declared our faith in a Creator whose love and power transcend our understanding. We learned to visualize with faith, not force, anchoring our desires in trust and surrender. Inspired action reminded us that faith is not passive but an active partnership with the universe, moving forward in alignment with divine purpose. Finally, we opened our hearts to recognize the signs, those sacred moments of guidance that reassure us we are always being led. These principles are not isolated ideas, they are threads in a tapestry of trust, faith, and divine connection. When woven together, they create a life that is not only purposeful, but also deeply fulfilling. A life that reflects the Creator's love and intention for each of us. They remind us that we are not here to struggle against the currents of life, but to flow with them, trusting that the one who set the stars in their places is also orchestrating every detail of our journey. As we step away from this moment, I encourage you to carry these truths with you, not as fleeting thoughts, but as guiding principles. Let them shape the way you see the world, the way you interact with others, and the way you approach the challenges and opportunities before you. Trust in the Creator's plan, not just in the moments of clarity, but also in the moments of uncertainty. Rest in the assurance that you are loved, guided, and held by a power far greater than yourself. In closing, let me leave you with this. The universe, in its vastness and beauty, is a reflection of the Creator's infinite care and creativity. You are a part of that creation, uniquely designed and deeply cherished. Trust the process, embrace the journey, and know that every step you take is leading you closer to the life you were created to live. The Creator's plans for you are good, and His timing is perfect. Relax, trust, and let the universe work its wonders through you. Go forward in peace, knowing that you are never alone. To relax and trust the universe is to align yourself with the infinite power that already resides within you. There is no need to struggle, no need to force outcomes, for the universe operates in perfect harmony with your inner state. You are not separate from the flow of life, you are the flow itself. And when you recognize this, you release all resistance. Feel the stillness within you, that sacred place where everything is already complete. It is not the outside world that determines your peace, it is the state of your mind, the images you hold, and the beliefs you hold, and the beliefs you embody. The moment you let go of doubt and fear, you allow the natural order of things to unfold. The universe does not work against you, it works through you, responding to every vibration you send out. Relaxation is not about giving up, it is about trusting the unseen forces that guide all things. When you imagine the life you desire, you must know it is already yours. See it clearly, feel it deeply, and let the joy of that vision become your reality. The moment you trust, you stop chasing and begin receiving. Trust is not blind, it is the certainty that what you seek is already seeking you. Let go of the need to control every step. Just as the seed does not strain to grow into a tree, you too must allow your desires to manifest in their own time and way. Trust the process, for the universe knows the path better than you could ever plan. By relaxing into this truth, you free yourself from worry, from tension, and from the illusion of lack. breathe deeply and know that everything is unfolding perfectly. The universe never fails, and neither will you. Rest in the knowing that the power that created the stars and moves the oceans also moves through you. Trust in that power, and it will carry you effortlessly to the fulfillment of your desires. Once there was a man named Ethan, who lived in a small village surrounded by lush mountains. Ethan was known for his hard work and determination, yet he was also known for his constant worry. He believed that to succeed in life he had to control every detail, plan every step, and force every outcome. Despite his efforts, things often didn't go as planned, leaving him frustrated and exhausted. One day, Ethan encountered an old traveler sitting by the riverbank. The traveler was calm, his face serene, as if he carried no burdens at all. Curious, Ethan asked him, "How can you be so at peace when life is so unpredictable? Don't you fear what might go wrong?" The traveler smiled and pointed at the river. "Do you see how the water flows effortlessly? It doesn't fight against the rocks, nor does it question its path. It simply trusts that it will reach the ocean in its own time. Life is much like this river when you trust it. The flow takes you exactly where you need to go." Ethan frowned. "But if I don't push, how will I achieve my goals? Won't everything fall apart if I let go?" The traveler chuckled softly. "I once thought as you do," he said, "but let me tell you a story. Years ago, I was a merchant with great ambitions. I worked day and night, always worrying, always trying to control everything. Then one year, a great storm destroyed my entire trade route. I lost everything. I was devastated and angry, convinced that life had betrayed me. Out of desperation, I decided to journey to a distant land, hoping to rebuild my life. Along the way, I met people who showed me kindness and offered help I didn't expect. Doors I could never have imagined began to open. I realized that losing my trade wasn't a punishment, it was life's way of redirecting me to something greater. The harder I had tried to control everything, the more I had blocked the flow of life. When I finally let go and trusted, life brought me more abundance than I could have ever created on my own." Ethan listened intently, the traveler's words sinking deep into his heart. The traveler continued, "You see, trust isn't about doing nothing, it's about aligning with the flow of life. Imagine what you want, feel it as though it is already yours. And then relax. The universe knows the perfect way to bring it to you. But you must give it room to work. When you stop fighting the current, you'll find that the river carries you further than your own strength ever could." Ethan was silent for a long moment. He looked at the river again, watching how effortlessly it moved, how it flowed around obstacles without resistance. For the first time, he realized how much energy he had wasted trying to control what was never his to control. Then from that day on, Ethan changed. He still worked hard, but he no longer worried about every little detail. He began to trust the process, allowing life to unfold as it was meant to. And just as the traveler had said, opportunities began to appear, opportunities that Ethan could never have planned for himself. In time, Ethan found a peace he had never known, and his life became more abundant than he had ever dreamed. He often returned to the riverbank, smiling as he remembered the traveler's wisdom. He had learned to relax and trust the universe, knowing that everything he needed would come to him at the perfect time. To let go of control is not to surrender to chaos, it is to align yourself with the deeper intelligence that governs all things. Imagine a bird soaring through the sky. It does not question the wind or try to bend it to its will. Instead, it trusts the currents, adjusts its wings, and allows itself to be carried to where it needs to go. Life is asking you to do the same. The truth is, control is an illusion. The more you try to hold on tightly, the more you exhaust yourself. You chase outcomes, you fight circumstances, and yet you feel no closer to peace or success. But what if you could release that grip? What if you could step into a state where trust replaces tension? To let go is not weakness, it is a strength so profound that it shifts the entire course of your life. Think of the times when life seemed to flow effortlessly, when the right people showed up, when opportunities appeared as if by magic, when things fell into place without you having to push. These moments weren't accidents. They happened because you allowed life to move through you without interference. This is the power of trust, the power of knowing that you don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. Letting go means understanding that you don't need to have all the answers right now. It's knowing that the universe operates on a scale far greater than your immediate understanding. It is working behind the scenes, arranging pieces you cannot yet see. You don't need to force the process. Life is already moving in your favor. What you must do is take a step back and trust the unfolding. When you let go of control, you free yourself from the chains of worry and fear. You stop chasing and start allowing. You no longer live in a constant state of resistance, and instead you open yourself to possibilities that are greater than anything you could have imagined. This isn't about giving up, it's about stepping into a power far greater than your own limited efforts. Imagine the peace that comes from knowing you don't have to fight. Imagine the freedom of trusting that everything is working out for your highest good. Feel the weight lifting from your heart as you realize that life isn't something you have to conquer, it is something you are meant to flow with. Trust isn't blind, it is a quiet knowing, a deep certainty that the universe is conspiring for you, not against you. Let go and feel the shift within yourself. Feel the calm, the strength, the clarity that comes when you no longer try to control every moment. Trust the process, and you will find that life takes you to places you never thought possible, to heights you never dreamed of reaching. The moment you release control is the moment you reclaim your power. Let life carry you, it knows the way. Trust in the unseen is the greatest leap of faith you can take, and yet it is also the most powerful. There is a force that exists beyond what your eyes can see, a presence so infinite and intelligent that it orchestrates the universe itself. This force is always working, always moving, always guiding. Even when the road feels unclear, even when life seems to falter, this unseen power never abandons you. It is the hand that shapes the stars, the whisper that moves the wind, and the quiet force that turns the tide in your favor. Think of a seed buried deep in the soil. To the outside world, it appears as though nothing is happening. But underneath, unseen by the human eye, a miracle is taking place. The seed is breaking open, roots are stretching into the earth, and soon it will rise into the light, blossoming into its fullest expression. Life is no different. Even when you can't see it, even when nothing seems to be changing, trust that the universe is working for you in ways you cannot yet comprehend. There is a timing to everything. The stars do not rush to shine, the ocean does not hurry to meet the shore. Yet all things happen with perfect precision. Your life is no exception. What you desire, what you seek, is already making its way to you. The energy you send out, the thoughts you hold, the feelings you nurture are signals to the universe. And just as a boomerang returns to the one who throws it, life reflects back to you what you believe in the unseen. Doubt is what clouds this process. It is what makes you question whether life is truly on your side. But doubt is only a shadow, and shadows cannot exist without light. Trust is the light. When you choose to trust, you dissolve the fear, the worry, and the disbelief that hold you back. You step into a space of knowing, a deep certainty that what is meant for you is already yours. Every moment of trust you place in the unseen opens doors that you didn't even know existed. It brings people into your life, opportunities to your doorstep, and solutions to your challenges in ways that defy logic. It is not your job to figure out how, it is your job to trust that it will. The same power that spins the planets in their orbit and breathes life into every living being is the power that holds your dreams, ready to deliver them at the perfect moment. Feel that trust within you. Feel the freedom of not needing to know all the answers, the peace that comes with releasing the need to control every outcome. Trust is not weakness, it is the strongest choice you can make. It says, I believe in something greater than myself. I believe that life is for me, not against me, and in that belief, in that unshakable faith, You unlock the limitless potential of the universe. Look around you. The trees, the sky, the endless horizon, all of it exists without effort, without doubt. You are no different. You are part of this same miraculous creation, and the same force that guides it all is guiding you. Trust it. Know it. Let it lead you. The unseen is not empty, it is full of life, full of power, and it is ready to carry you to everything you've ever dreamed of. Adversity is not your enemy, it is your guide. Every obstacle, every challenge, every moment of pain is a doorway. It may not seem like it in the moment, but what you call setbacks are often the universe's way of redirecting you to something far greater than you could imagine. When things don't go as planned, it's easy to feel lost, to question why, to feel as though life is working against you. But what if it's not? What if every detour is a blessing in disguise, every hardship a step towards something better? Picture this: a river flowing effortlessly toward its destination. When a boulder appears in its path, the river doesn't stop. It doesn't fight the boulder or try to push it aside. It simply finds another way. It flows around, carving a new path, one that may even lead it to places it never thought possible. This is how life works. The obstacles you face are not there to break you, they are there to shape you, to reroute you to a path that aligns more deeply with your purpose. When you look back on your life, think of the times when something you desperately wanted didn't work out. At the time, it may have felt like the end of the world. But now, from where you stand, you see that it wasn't the end, it was the beginning. It was life clearing the way for something greater, something you couldn't have seen in the moment. Adversity is the same. It is not a punishment, it is a redirection, a recalibration of your journey toward the highest version of yourself. There is no growth without challenge. Just as a muscle grows stronger through resistance, your spirit grows through the struggles you face. Each hardship teaches you something, reveals a strength you didn't know you had, and prepares you for the blessings that lie ahead. The question is not why the challenge exists, the question is, will you trust it? Will you trust that this moment, no matter how hard, is leading you somewhere extraordinary? When you embrace adversity as a redirection rather than a roadblock, you take back your power. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance and start seeing yourself as a co-creator of your life. You realize that the very things you thought were setbacks were actually the universe aligning you with something far greater than you dared to ask for. Feel that truth within you. Every challenge you faced, every heartache, every disappointment, they were not random. They were stepping stones, each one placed perfectly to lead you to where you are meant to be. Trust the process, even when it feels hard, even when it doesn't make sense. The universe is not taking from you, it is preparing you. The redirection may not be what you expected, but it will always be what you need. So when adversity comes, meet it with courage, meet it with faith. Know that it is not the end of the road, but the start of a better one. Let the river within you keep flowing, trusting that every turn, every obstacle, every detour is part of the journey to something extraordinary. This is the power of redirection, the gift hidden in every challenge. Trust it and let it lead you. Your thoughts are not just fleeting whispers in your mind, they are the architects of your reality. Every thought you hold with conviction shapes the world around you. The power to create, to transform, to manifest the life you desire begins with the energy of your mind. What you think, you become. What you focus on, you attract. This is not just philosophy, it is the very fabric of existence. Imagine planting a seed in the soil. The type of seed you choose determines the fruit it will bear. If you plant doubt, fear, and negativity, your life will reflect those same shadows. But if you plant thoughts of abundance, love, and trust, the world around you blooms in harmony with those thoughts. The universe is listening to the energy you emit, responding not to what you wish for in passing, but to what you believe in your heart. Have you ever noticed how one negative thought spirals into another, and soon your day feels heavy, as though nothing is going your way? The same is true for positive energy. When you choose to focus on what is good, even in the smallest things, it grows. One thought of gratitude attracts another. One moment of joy multiplies. This is not coincidence, this is the law of life. The energy you put out shapes the reality that comes back to you. You are not a victim of your circumstances, you are the creator of them. The life you are living today is a reflection of the thoughts and beliefs you nurtured yesterday. And the beauty of this truth is that at any moment you can change it. You can choose new thoughts, new beliefs, new energies to guide your life. The moment you decide to align your mind with trust, positivity, and faith in the unseen, the universe begins to shift in your favor. Even when life feels uncertain, even when challenges seem overwhelming, your thoughts remain the one thing you can control. In the face of doubt, you can choose faith. In the midst of struggle, you can choose gratitude. And when you do, you align yourself with a power far greater than any obstacle. The universe moves in response to the energy you hold, and it never fails to mirror back to you what you truly believe. Close your eyes and imagine the life you desire not as a distant dream, but as a present reality. Feel the joy of it, the peace, the abundance. Hold that image in your mind with unwavering faith and trust that the universe is already working to bring it to you. This is the power of your thoughts. They are not small, they are infinite. They are the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Every thought you think is a choice. Choose wisely. Choose to see the good, to trust the process, to believe in the unseen forces working for you. And as you do, watch how your life begins to transform. The world outside you changes when the world inside you shifts. This is your power, your gift, your truth. Trust it and let your thoughts become the foundation of the life you've always dreamed of. Faith is not built on what you can see with your eyes or touch with your hands. It is a force that comes alive in the unseen, in the spaces where logic falters and reason has no answers. The most powerful truths in life are often invisible, yet they hold the greatest power. You cannot see the wind, but you feel its presence. You cannot touch love, yet it transforms your entire existence. Faith works in the same way. It moves mountains within you before it ever moves the mountains around you. To trust in the unseen is to stand firm in the belief that even when the path is unclear, even when you cannot yet see the destination, the way forward is already being made for you. Imagine walking through a dense fog, where nothing ahead is visible. With every step you take, the path reveals itself, one moment at a time. This is faith in action, moving forward with the knowing that the universe is guiding your every step, even when your senses tell you otherwise. Some of the greatest transformations in history began in the unseen. The tallest trees in the world started as seeds buried in darkness, hidden beneath the soil, waiting for their moment to break through. They didn't need proof of the sun above, they simply grew, trusting the process. The same is true for you. Just because you cannot yet see the results of your faith does not mean they are not taking shape. Every intention you plant, every belief you nurture, is growing beneath the surface, preparing to bloom at the perfect time. When you trust in the unseen, you align yourself with the power that knows no limits. It does not matter how impossible your circumstances appear. The universe is not confined by your current reality. It is always working in ways beyond your understanding, moving the pieces, opening the doors, and aligning opportunities that you cannot yet perceive. All that is asked of you is to believe, to trust, to hold steady in the face of doubt and fear. Doubt will try to whisper in your ear, pointing out every reason why things won't work out, every obstacle in your way. But faith speaks louder, not with words, but with a quiet, unshakable certainty that you are not alone, that every challenge is being met with divine solutions, and that everything is unfolding in your favor. To trust in the unseen is to release the need for control, to let go of the how and the when, and to rest in the knowing that the universe is always working for you. Feel that truth deep within you. Close your eyes and breathe it in. The answers you seek, the solutions you long for, the miracles you hope for, they already exist. They are not far away, they are simply waiting for the right moment to unfold. Your job is not to force them, but to align with them, to live in the vibration of trust, knowing that what is meant for you will never pass you by. Even in the darkest moments, when nothing seems to make sense, the unseen is at work. Trust it. Trust the power that breathes life into the stars and whispers to the oceans to rise and fall. That same power resides within you, guiding you, carrying you, aligning every piece of your life with divine perfection. Faith in the unseen is not blind, it is the clearest vision of all. The vision of your heart, leading you toward a life beyond anything you could ever imagine. Gratitude is the secret key that unlocks the universe's greatest treasures. It is not just an emotion, it is a powerful vibration that aligns you with everything good, abundant, and joyful. When you live in gratitude, you are telling the universe, I see what you've given me, and I am ready for more. The energy of appreciation magnetizes even greater blessings into your life. It's as though the universe looks at your thankfulness and says, if you're this grateful now, wait until you see what's next. In every moment, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem, there is something to be grateful for. Even in the midst of struggle, even when everything feels like it's falling apart, there is always a light, however faint, waiting to be noticed. And gratitude is the act of finding that light and holding on to it. It is choosing to see the beauty, the lessons, the opportunities hidden within every experience. Think of the air you're breathing right now. You don't have to ask for it, it's simply there, sustaining you, giving you life. Consider the sunrise, the way it greets the world without fail, painting the sky with colors too magnificent to describe. These are gifts, miracles that happen every single day. When you begin to notice them, when you let gratitude fill your heart, you shift your entire perspective. Suddenly, the things you once took for granted become extraordinary. Gratitude is not just about thanking the universe for what you already have. It's about thanking it for what's on its way even before you can see it. It's looking at your life and saying, I may not have all the answers right now, but I trust that what's coming is beautiful, and I'm grateful for it already. This is where the magic happens. Gratitude transforms fear into faith, doubt into certainty, and lack into abundance. It opens the floodgates for miracles to flow into your life. When you wake up each day with a grateful heart, you are setting the tone for the entire day. You are telling the universe that you are ready to receive. Gratitude is a signal, a beacon of light that says you are open to all the good that is meant for you. It's not about ignoring the challenges or pretending they don't exist. It's about choosing to focus on the blessings that surround you, even in the hardest moments. Think about the times in your life when things seem to come together effortlessly, when opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere, when you felt a deep sense of peace and alignment. Those moments were not random. They were the result of the energy you were radiating, the gratitude you were living in, whether consciously or unconsciously. The universe responds to gratitude with abundance because gratitude is the language of abundance. Let your heart overflow with thankfulness. Look at where you are, at everything you've been through, and recognize the strength you've gained, the lessons you've learned, the beauty that surrounds you. Say thank you for it all, the good, the challenging, the uncertain, because every piece of it is shaping you, guiding you, and preparing you for the life you are meant to live. Gratitude is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Embrace it and watch as the universe pours its blessings into your life in ways you never imagined. Letting go is not an act of defeat, it is an act of power. It is the moment you stop gripping so tightly, the moment you stop wrestling with life, and you decide to trust. To let go is to free yourself from the chains of control and to step into a state of pure flow with the universe. Holding on too tightly to outcomes, fears, or expectations only builds resistance. It's like trying to hold water in your fist. The harder you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. Letting go is opening your hands, allowing the water to rest in your palms, unforced and undisturbed. There is immense freedom in surrender. It is not giving up, it is giving in to the higher intelligence that knows the perfect timing and the perfect path for your life. When you let go, you stop carrying the weight of what you cannot control, and you make space for the miracles waiting to enter. Imagine trying to climb a mountain while carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Each stone represents a fear, a worry, or an attachment to something that no longer serves you. Letting go is setting down that backpack and realizing how much lighter, how much freer you feel as you take the next step. Life is not meant to be a struggle against the current. It is meant to be a dance, a harmonious flow where you move in rhythm with the universe. When you let go, you align with that rhythm. You allow life to unfold without resistance, trusting that what is meant for you will find its way to you, and what is not meant for you will gracefully leave. The universe cannot deliver what you've been asking for if your hands are too full holding on to the past, to fear, or to doubts. Letting go is clearing the space for new blessings to arrive. There is incredible strength in trusting the process, even when it feels uncertain. It is in those moments of uncertainty that the greatest growth occurs. It's when you release the need to control every detail, every outcome, and you say, I trust that what's coming is better than anything I could force into being. Letting go is not passive, it is the most active form of faith. It requires courage to release your grip and step into the unknown, but it is in the unknown that the magic happens. Think about the times in your life when you've held on too tightly, when fear or doubt kept you stuck. Now imagine how different it would feel to release that tension, to breathe deeply, and to trust that everything is unfolding perfectly. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you stop worrying. It means you release the belief that you must do it all alone, and instead lean into the infinite power of the universe. The universe is always working in your favor, even when it feels like things are falling apart. Sometimes what you're holding on to is what's holding you back. Let go, and watch as the doors you thought were locked begin to open, as the paths you couldn't see begin to reveal themselves. Trust the flow of life, and know that in the act of letting go, you are allowing something greater to take its place. The power to create the life you desire begins the moment you let go of the fears and doubts that have been holding you down. Let go and step into the limitless possibilities that await you. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the creator of your own reality. The power you have within you is far greater than anything you could ever imagine. Every thought you have, every belief you hold, every emotion you feel, these are the building blocks of the life you experience. The universe does not impose things on you, it responds to what you believe to be true. If you believe life is a series of obstacles, that's what you will see. If you believe that you are capable of overcoming anything that comes your way, you will find the strength to rise above it. The circumstances in your life, no matter how challenging, do not define you. They are simply the reflection of what you have believed in the past. The moment you change your belief, everything begins to shift. Your past does not dictate your future unless you allow it to. You are the one who decides the narrative of your life. No situation, no person, no event has the power to control you unless you give it that power. You are in control of your response, your actions, and the way you perceive the world around you. Your life is shaped by your thoughts. If you want to change your life, you must begin by changing the way you think. The thoughts you hold are not just fleeting ideas, they are powerful forces that create the world around you. If you hold the thought that life is difficult, you will see difficulty in every corner. But when you shift that thought to one of possibility, to one of empowerment, you will begin to notice new opportunities, new paths, and new solutions that were always there but hidden from your limited perception. The universe is abundant, and it is waiting to support you in every way possible. You are not at the mercy of your circumstances. You are connected to an infinite source of energy, wisdom, and guidance. When you align yourself with this source, when you step into your full power and take ownership of your life, you open the floodgates to everything you desire. There is no limit to what you can achieve, no obstacle too great to overcome. The only limits are the ones you place on yourself through your beliefs. Recognize the power of your own mind. Every dream you have, every goal you set, is within your reach if you are willing to believe it is possible. You do not need to wait for the perfect circumstances or the right timing. The right time is now. The universe is waiting for you to step into your greatness, to believe in your own potential. The moment you make the decision that you are capable, worthy, and deserving of everything you desire, the universe will move mountains to make it happen. You are not here to be a bystander in your own life. You are here to actively create it, to manifest your deepest desires, and to live in alignment with your highest self. When you recognize your own power, you stop waiting for change to come from the outside. You realize that change comes from within. The moment you take full responsibility for your life, your power, your thoughts, your beliefs, everything shifts. The universe cannot help but respond to your new energy, your new belief in yourself. You are the creator. You are the architect of your future. And there is nothing that can stand in your way except your own beliefs. When you decide to embrace your power, to let go of limiting beliefs and replace them with empowering ones, the doors to your success, your happiness, your abundance will open. The universe is always listening. It is waiting for you to remember who you truly are and to start living from that place of power. The moment you choose to see yourself as the creator of your reality, everything begins to fall into place. The moment you stop doubting your own worth, the moment you decide to fully embrace the truth of who you are, everything changes. You are not a product of your circumstances, your mistakes, or the stories you have been told about yourself. You are a unique expression of infinite potential. The universe did not create you to struggle or to live small. It created you to thrive, to soar, to manifest the highest version of yourself. When you begin to believe in your worth, you unlock doors you never knew existed. The people, opportunities, and experiences you desire are waiting for you to recognize that you are worthy of them. You carry within you an immense reservoir of strength, power, and creativity. The only thing standing in the way of accessing that power is the belief that you are not enough. This belief, though it may have been ingrained in you through the years, is nothing more than an illusion. It is a false story you have been telling yourself. The truth is that you are already enough. You are worthy of love, success, happiness, and every good thing the universe has to offer. The moment you fully accept this truth, you will begin to see your life transform. Imagine what would happen if you believed in your worth. Imagine if you woke up every day with the certainty that you are deserving of everything you desire. How would you walk? How would you speak? How would you make decisions? When you truly believe that you are worthy, you stop shrinking in the face of challenges. You stop doubting yourself when opportunities arise. You begin to step forward with confidence, knowing that everything you need is already within you. You start to see yourself as the powerful being you were always meant to be. And you stop apologizing for your greatness. The world reflects back to you how you see yourself. When you doubt your worth, the world will mirror that doubt. People will treat you in ways that reinforce the belief that you are not enough. But when you know your worth, when you recognize that you are deserving of all the blessings life has to offer, the world will shift. People will begin to treat you with the respect and admiration you deserve. Opportunities will present themselves in ways you never thought possible. The universe will conspire in your favor, because when you step into your full worth, everything aligns with you. Do not wait for someone else to validate your worth. You don't need anyone's permission to live the life you are destined for. Your worth is not dependent on external approval. It is inherent in who you are. When you decide to fully own your worth, you stop waiting for outside forces to determine your value. You become the creator of your own reality, and everything in your life begins to reflect the powerful truth of your existence. Your worth is limitless, and the moment you embrace that, the universe opens up to you in ways you never thought possible. You are worthy of all the love, joy, and success that life has to offer. The only thing standing between you and the life you desire is the belief that you are not enough. Let go of that belief and watch as your life transforms. When you stand in your worth, you become unstoppable. The universe aligns with your energy and reflects back to you the incredible truth of who you are. And once you know this truth, nothing and no one can take it away from you. You are worthy, and that is all that matters. There is a force within you, a power greater than anything you can see with your eyes or touch with your hands. It is a quiet force, always present, always available to you. This power is the essence of who you are, the very core of your being, and it is this force that shapes your world. When you trust it, when you believe in it, it will guide you toward everything you need, everything you desire. It is not about forcing things to happen or struggling to make life fit into a mold. It is about surrendering to the flow of life, trusting that the universe knows exactly what you need, and allowing it to unfold in its own perfect timing. Imagine for a moment what it would feel like to walk through life without doubt, without fear, without the need to control every outcome. Imagine waking up each day knowing that everything you need is already on its way to you, that the universe is working behind the scenes to bring you exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. When you let go of the need to micromanage every detail, you open yourself to the flow of abundance that is always surrounding you. There is a rhythm to life, a natural flow, and when you trust in it, you begin to move in harmony with it. The struggles, the resistance all melt away, and in their place comes peace, clarity, and the understanding that everything is working out for you. You are not here to struggle against the current of life. You are not here to fight to make things happen. You are here to trust the process, to trust that you are always being guided toward the experiences and people that will help you grow, expand, and evolve. When you stop resisting, when you stop worrying about how things will unfold, you allow the universe to take the lead. This does not mean you sit back and do nothing. It means you trust that your actions are guided by something greater than your individual will, and that when you align yourself with that guidance, you will always be in the right place at the right time. Trusting the universe means believing that every experience, whether it appears positive or negative, is an opportunity for growth. You are not here to be a passive observer of your life. You are here to actively participate in your own evolution. But it is through trust that you move forward with grace and ease. When you trust the universe, you stop second-guessing every decision. You stop questioning whether you are on the right path. You trust that the path you are walking is the one meant for you, and that every step you take is part of your divine journey. The universe does not make mistakes. Everything that has happened in your life, every experience you have had, has been part of your divine design. Even the moments of struggle and pain have had a purpose, a lesson to teach you, a gift to give you. When you trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, you can release the burden of worry and anxiety. You can relax into the knowing that you are always exactly where you need to be, and that every experience is shaping you into the person you are becoming. There is no need to rush. There is no need to force. Everything is already working in your favor. The key is in your willingness to trust, to let go of the need to control, and to surrender to the process. When you trust the universe, you tap into a power greater than anything you could ever accomplish on your own. You open yourself to the abundance of the universe, to the miracles that are waiting for you, and you allow yourself to receive the life you were always meant to live. Trusting the universe is not about waiting for something to happen, it is about recognizing that everything you need is already here, and that by trusting in it, you allow it to flow to you effortlessly. Have you ever stopped to wonder why some dreams refuse to leave your heart? Why, despite the mountains of doubt and the storms of opposition, that quiet voice within you keeps whispering, "It will come to you"? It's not by chance. It's not wishful thinking. It is divine assurance, a promise planted in your soul by the Creator Himself, a seed of destiny that no force on earth can uproot. In moments of struggle, it's easy to feel abandoned, to believe the weight of the world is proof that you're alone in this fight. But let me remind you, you were never created to walk this path by yourself. The one who formed you in your mother's womb, who breathed life into your lungs, has already written your story. And though it may feel like every obstacle is designed to break you, those very challenges are shaping you for what's ahead. Look to the scriptures where time and time again we see the faithful rise against impossible odds. Joseph, cast into a pit by his own brothers, faced betrayal and despair. Yet through the darkness, God was preparing him to rule in a position of power. David, mocked and underestimated, stood before Goliath with nothing but a sling and a stone and the unwavering faith that God was with him. And even Jesus himself, scorned, rejected, and crucified, overcame the ultimate betrayal to fulfill the greatest promise of all, the salvation of humanity. What do these stories teach us? That when God places a purpose in your heart, it is not dependent on the approval of others. It is not diminished by the rejection of man or the trials of life. Instead, it is refined in the fire of adversity, strengthened in moments of doubt, and fulfilled in God's perfect timing. So when the world rises against you, when voices of negativity surround you, when even your closest allies fail to understand your vision, know this: you are not alone. The Creator of the universe stands with you, guiding your steps, lighting your path, and whispering, "Be still, and know that I am God." Have you ever considered that the resistance you face is proof of your calling? That the enemy only fights what he fears? When the storms rage against you, it's because there is something within you that threatens to disrupt the plans of darkness. The dreams you carry, the gifts you possess, and the purpose you are called to fulfill have the power to change lives, to inspire faith, and to glorify God. But here's the truth: you must hold on to God's promises are unshakable. They are not deterred by the opinions of others or the limitations of your circumstances. He does not require the world's approval to bless you. What He has ordained for you, no one can take away. As it is written, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" Picture yourself as a tree deeply rooted in faith. The winds of life may howl, and the rains may pour, but your roots anchored in the promises of God keep you grounded. The branches may sway, leaves may fall, but the essence of who you are remains unbroken. Why? Because your strength doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within, from the divine connection you share with the Creator. Now let me ask you, do you trust that He is working behind the scenes? Do you believe that His plans for you are greater than anything you could imagine? Even when the world tells you it's impossible, do you dare to believe that with God all things are possible? Consider the story of a potter and his clay. The clay doesn't resist the potter's hands. It doesn't question the pressure or the shaping process. It surrenders, trusting that the potter knows the masterpiece he is creating. In the same way, your trials and setbacks are not there to destroy you. They are the potter's hands molding you into the person you were always meant to be. When the world seems against you, remember this: the Creator of all things is for you. He sees the battles you fight in silence. He knows the tears you've cried when no one else was watching. And He promises that those who trust in Him will not be put to shame. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and He shall strengthen your heart. Let this truth take root in your soul. What is meant for you cannot be stopped, delayed, or stolen. Not by doubters, not by enemies, not by fear. For the one who has called you is faithful, and His promises are eternal. So stand firm in your faith, and let the world see that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. It will come to you not because the world wills it, but because God has decreed it. The promise of God is unshakable. When God makes a promise, it is not like the fleeting words of man. His promise is eternal, rooted in His perfect nature, and unwavering in its fulfillment. This truth has been echoed throughout Scripture, where we see God's faithfulness displayed time and time again. His word does not return void, and His plans are not subject to the limitations of our understanding or the challenges we face. Instead, his promises are a source of strength and hope, reminding us that what he has spoken over our lives will come to pass, no matter the opposition. Think of the story of Noah. God instructed him to build an ark when there was no sign of rain. Imagine the ridicule he faced, the doubt that surrounded him, and the patience required to follow through with such an extraordinary task. Yet Noah trusted the promise of God. He didn't rely on visible evidence, he relied on the faithfulness of the one who spoke. And when the rains finally came, Noah's obedience and trust in God's promise not only saved his family but also became a testament to God's unchanging word. God's promises are like a seed planted in the soil of our hearts. They may not sprout immediately, but they are alive and active, waiting for the right conditions to grow. The process requires faith, patience, and unwavering trust. The delays we experience are not denials, they are preparations. God's timing is perfect, and his promises are worth the wait. As it is written in 2 Peter 3:9, the Lord is not slow in keeping his promise, as some understand slowness. Instead, he is patient with you, not wanting anyone to perish, but everyone to come to repentance. When you hold on to God's promises, you are aligning yourself with his will. This alignment brings peace, even in the midst of chaos. Consider the story of Mary, the mother of Jesus. She was given an incredible promise that she would bear the Savior of the world. This promise came with challenges, doubt from others, and unimaginable responsibility. Yet Mary responded with faith, saying, "Be it unto me according to thy word." Her faith in God's promise not only changed her life, but also changed the world. What promises has God whispered into your heart? Maybe he has promised to open doors that no one can shut, to restore what has been lost, or to lead you into a season of abundance. Whatever it may be, hold on to it with unwavering faith. The storms of life may try to shake you, but God's word remains steadfast. As it is written in Numbers 23:19, God is not a man that he should lie, nor a son of man that he should change his mind. Does he speak and then not act? Does he promise and not fulfill? In our moments of doubt, we must remember that God's promises are backed by his power. He is the creator of all things, the Alpha and the Omega, the one who spoke the universe into existence. If he can place the stars in the sky and command the seas, why should we doubt his ability to fulfill his promises in our lives? Your role is to trust and obey even when the path seems unclear. Trust that he is working behind the scenes, orchestrating every detail for your good. Obey his instructions, no matter how small or insignificant they may seem, because they are part of his divine plan. As you walk in faith, you will see his promises unfold in ways that exceed your expectations. When fear and doubt creep in, remind yourself of his faithfulness. Reflect on the times he has come through for you in the past. Look to the testimonies of others who have experienced his promises fulfilled. Let these reminders strengthen your faith and renew your hope. God's promise is not just about the destination, it is also about the journey. Through the process, he molds your character, deepens your trust, and prepares you for the blessings to come. Every challenge you face along the way is shaping you into the person he created you to be. So stand firm in your faith and declare, "I trust you, Lord. Your promise is my foundation, and I know that what you have spoken will come to pass." Resistance is proof of purpose. Have you ever noticed that the most significant breakthroughs often come after the greatest resistance? This is no coincidence. Resistance is not a sign that you are on the wrong path, it is evidence that you are on the verge of something extraordinary. The enemy does not waste his energy on what does not matter. When you face opposition, it is because what you are pursuing has the potential to glorify God and impact lives in powerful ways. Look at the story of Nehemiah, who was called to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. The moment he began his work, opposition arose. Enemies mocked him, threatened him, and tried to sabotage his efforts. Yet Nehemiah remained steadfast, declaring in Nehemiah 6:3, "I am doing a great work, and I cannot come down." He understood that resistance was a sign of the importance of his mission. The same is true in your life. When you encounter resistance, it is an opportunity to deepen your faith and trust in God. It is a chance to lean on His strength rather than your own. The challenges you face are not there to destroy you, they are there to refine you. As it is written in Isaiah 48:10, I have refined you, though not as silver, I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. Jesus himself faced unimaginable resistance. From the moment he began his ministry, the forces of darkness sought to oppose him. He was rejected, betrayed, and ultimately crucified. Yet through his unwavering faith and obedience to God's will, he overcame every obstacle and fulfilled his purpose. His life is a testament to the truth that resistance is not the end, it is the pathway to victory. When you face resistance, ask yourself, what is God preparing me for? Each obstacle is an opportunity to grow in faith, perseverance, and character. It is in the fire of resistance that you are shaped into the person God has called you to be. Consider the story of Daniel, who was thrown into the lion's den for his unwavering faith. The resistance he faced became the platform for God's glory to be revealed. Resistance is also a tool God uses to redirect us. Sometimes what feels like opposition is actually God closing a door that is not meant for us. Trust that He sees the bigger picture and is guiding you to something far greater. As Proverbs 19:21 reminds us, many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. Remember, resistance is not an indicator of your worth or ability. It is a reminder of the greatness of the calling God has placed on your life. The more significant the resistance, the greater the purpose. So do not be discouraged when you face opposition. Instead, let it fuel your determination and deepen your reliance on God. Stand firm in the face of resistance, knowing that God is with you. As He promised in Isaiah 41:10, so do not fear, for I am with you, do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. With God by your side, no resistance can prevail against you. Let resistance become your testimony of God's faithfulness. As you overcome each obstacle, you will not only grow stronger, but you will also inspire others to trust in God's promises. You are not defined by the resistance you face, you are defined by the God who empowers you to overcome it. Your faith activates miracles. Faith is the cornerstone of every great victory in the spiritual journey. It is not merely hope or optimism, it is a deep, unwavering belief in the unseen promises of God. Faith is what moves mountains, parts seas, and brings the impossible into reality. As Jesus said in Matthew 17:20, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Consider for a moment what this means. Your faith is not just a passive state of mind, it is an active force that invites God's power into your life. When you believe in the promises of God, you are aligning yourself with His will, and that alignment is what opens the doors to miracles. But what does faith look like in action? Look at the story of the woman with the issue of blood in Mark 5:25-34. She had suffered for 12 years, spending all she had on doctors with no relief. Yet she believed with every fiber of her being that if she could just touch the hem of Jesus' garment, she would be healed. Her faith drove her to press through the crowd, despite her weakness and the societal judgment she faced. And when she touched Him, she was instantly healed. Jesus turned to her and said, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." This story teaches us a profound truth. Miracles are not about the size of our need, but the strength of our faith. The woman's faith activated the healing power of God. She didn't wait for permission, nor did she dwell on the opinions of others. She acted in faith, and her faith made the impossible possible. Now think about your own life. Are you waiting for your circumstances to change before you believe in God's promises? Or are you stepping out in faith, trusting that God will meet you where you are? Faith does not wait for the perfect conditions. It moves forward, confident that God will provide, guide, and bless. Faith also requires surrender. It is the act of placing everything your fears, doubts, and dreams in God's hands and trusting Him to lead the way. Abraham's faith was counted as righteousness because he trusted God, even when asked to sacrifice his son Isaac. He believed that God's promise would prevail, no matter how impossible the situation seemed. And God, in His faithfulness, provided a ram in Isaac's place, affirming His promise to make Abraham the father of many nations. Faith invites us to see beyond our circumstances. It lifts our eyes from the challenges in front of us and focuses them on the greatness of God. When Peter walked on water toward Jesus, his faith enabled him to do the impossible. But the moment he shifted his focus to the wind and waves, he began to sink. This story is a reminder that faith requires focus, keeping your eyes on God and His promises, not the obstacles around you. What are you believing for today? Is it healing, restoration, a breakthrough, or guidance in a difficult season? Whatever it is, remember that your faith is the key. It may not happen immediately, but God honors the faith of His people. As Hebrews 11:6 says, without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to Him must believe that He exists and that He rewards those who earnestly seek Him. Faith is not always easy. It requires perseverance, especially when the evidence seems to contradict the promise. But this is where the greatest growth happens. As you hold on to God's promises, even in the face of adversity, your faith strengthens and your relationship with Him deepens. And when the miracle comes, it will be a testament to His faithfulness and your trust in Him. And rejection aligns you with God's plan. Rejection is one of the most painful experiences we can face. It strikes at the core of our self-worth, making us question our value and purpose. But what if rejection is not a detour, but a redirection? What if the doors that close are not meant to punish you, but to guide you toward God's greater plan? This truth is woven throughout Scripture, where rejection often precedes divine alignment. Take the story of Joseph, for instance. His brothers rejected him, throwing him into a pit and selling him into slavery. From there, he faced false accusations and imprisonment. To the outside world, it seemed as though Joseph's life was a series of misfortunes. But God was working behind the scenes. Each rejection and setback was positioning Joseph for the role of second in command in Egypt, where he would save nations from famine. What his brothers meant for evil, God used for good. Genesis 50:20. This pattern is not unique to Joseph. David, before becoming king, was overlooked by his own family and hunted by Saul. Jesus himself, the Savior of the world, was despised and rejected by men, as prophesied in Isaiah 53:3. Yet his rejection led to the cross, the very place where salvation was secured for humanity. These stories remind us that rejection is not the end of the story, it is often the beginning of a greater purpose. In your own life, rejection may feel like failure, but it is a tool God uses to refine and redirect you. When you face a closed door, it is not a sign that God has abandoned you. On the contrary, it is evidence that He is protecting you from something that is not part of His plan. As Proverbs 16:9 says, in their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Trust that the one who sees the end from the beginning is guiding you to something far greater. Rejection also teaches us dependence on God. When the approval of others is stripped away, we are reminded that our true worth comes from Him. It is in these moments that we learn to lean not on our own understanding, but on His wisdom and guidance. As Psalm 34:18 declares, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Rejection can also be a pruning process. In John 15:2, Jesus says, He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit He prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. Sometimes the relationships, opportunities, or paths we cling to are not bearing fruit in our lives. God in His love removes them not to harm us, but to prepare us for something better. Think about the times you faced rejection. Did it lead you to unexpected blessings, new opportunities, or a deeper understanding of yourself and God's purpose for your life? If so, then you've experienced the truth that rejection is often God's way of aligning us with His will. The next time you face rejection, remember this: it is not a reflection of your worth or potential. It is a divine realignment, a reminder that God's plans are higher than ours. Trust Him in the process, knowing that every closed door is leading you closer to the purpose He has prepared for you. As Romans 8:28 assures us, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Patience is one of the greatest tests of faith, yet it is also one of the greatest gifts we can develop on our spiritual journey. Waiting on God's timing is not about passivity, it is about trusting that He knows what is best for us, even when we don't understand. His timing is not like ours, it is eternal, deliberate, and always aligned with His perfect plan for our lives. As Isaiah 55:8-9 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." Consider Abraham and Sarah. God promised them a child who would lead to descendants as numerous as the stars. Yet they waited decades to see that promise fulfilled. In their waiting, doubt crept in, leading them to take matters into their own hands with Hagar, which only caused strife and pain. But when Isaac was finally born, it became evident that God's timing was perfect. His promise came to pass in a way that brought glory to Him and blessings beyond what they could have imagined. Why does God ask us to wait? Waiting is not about withholding, it is about preparing. During seasons of waiting, God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating circumstances for our good and His glory. He is refining our character, strengthening our faith, and aligning the details of His plan. The waiting period is like the growth of a seed. When you plant a seed, you do not see immediate results. Beneath the soil, roots are taking hold, nourishment is being absorbed, and the foundation for growth is being established. In the same way, God uses waiting to develop the roots of our faith. Scripture is filled with examples of God's perfect timing. Joseph, for instance, endured years of hardship, betrayal by his brothers, slavery, and imprisonment before becoming second in command in Egypt. From a human perspective, those years might have seemed wasted. But every step was part of God's divine plan. When famine struck, Joseph was in the exact position to save his family and fulfill God's promise. God's timing also protects us. Sometimes what we perceive as delays are actually God's way of shielding us from harm or preparing us for something better. Imagine a parent holding back a child from running into the street. The child may not understand the delay, but the parent's actions are rooted in love and protection. In the same way, God withholds certain blessings until we are ready to receive them or until the conditions are right. But waiting can be difficult, especially when the world around us moves so quickly. Our culture values instant results, but God values eternal outcomes. In these moments of frustration, it's essential to remember His promises. As Habakkuk 2:3 assures us, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, it hastens toward the goal, and it will not fail. Though it tarries, wait for it, for it will certainly come, it will not delay." God's promises are never late, they arrive at the appointed time. While you wait, God invites you to draw closer to Him. Use this season to deepen your relationship with Him through prayer, scripture, and worship. Waiting is not idle, it is an active period of spiritual growth. Trust that He is working even when you cannot see it. Psalm 27:14 encourages us, "Wait for the Lord, be strong, and take heart and wait for the Lord." Remember, God's timing often defies our understanding. What may feel like a delay is actually His perfect orchestration. Trusting in His timing requires surrender, letting go of our own agendas and embracing His plans. When we do, we experience a peace that surpasses all understanding, knowing that He is in control. So when you feel tempted to rush ahead or grow weary in waiting, remind yourself of this truth: God's timing is never wrong. The blessings He has prepared for you are worth the wait, and they will arrive in His perfect time. You are chosen, not forgotten. One of the deepest fears many of us face is the feeling of being forgotten. When our prayers seem unanswered, when opportunities slip through our fingers, and when others seem to prosper while we struggle, it is easy to believe the lie that we have been overlooked. But the truth is, you are not forgotten, you are chosen. God's word is clear. Before the foundation of the world, He called you by name and set you apart for a purpose. As Ephesians 1:4-5 declares, "For He chose us in Him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in His sight." In love, He predestined us for adoption to sonship through Jesus Christ, in accordance with His pleasure and will. Being chosen by God means you are seen, known, and loved beyond measure. He knows every detail of your life, the struggles, the victories, the hidden battles no one else sees. As Psalm 139:1-4 assures us, "You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise, you perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down, you are familiar with all my ways. You are never out of His sight or His thoughts." Look at the story of David. When the prophet Samuel came to anoint the next king of Israel, David's own family overlooked him. While his brothers were presented as candidates, David was tending sheep, seemingly forgotten. But God saw him. He chose David not because of his outward appearance or status, but because of his heart. As 1 Samuel 16:7 reminds us, the Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. This truth applies to you. God's choice is not based on your achievements, qualifications, or the opinions of others. It is rooted in His unconditional love and His purpose for your life. Even when others overlook you, God sees your potential. Even when you feel inadequate, He equips you for the task He has called you to. As Philippians 1:6 assures us, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." Being chosen also comes with a calling. You are not just chosen for salvation, you are chosen to fulfill a purpose. This purpose may not always be glamorous or easy, but it is significant. Look at the disciples Jesus chose. They were ordinary people, fishermen, tax collectors, and others with no special qualifications. Yet through their obedience and faith, they became the foundation of the church. When you feel forgotten, remind yourself of God's promises. He has not abandoned you, He is preparing you. Sometimes what feels like silence is actually a season of growth. God is working behind the scenes, aligning circumstances and shaping your character. As Jeremiah 29:11 declares, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." God's choice is eternal. He doesn't choose and then abandon. He is with you every step of the way, providing strength, guidance, and grace. When you doubt your worth, remember this: you are a child of God, chosen for a purpose, and held in the hands of the one who never lets go. Victory is already yours. One of the most profound truths of the spiritual journey is that victory is not something you strive to achieve, it is something you already possess through God. This perspective shifts everything. Instead of fighting battles out of fear and desperation, you walk in faith and confidence, knowing that the outcome has already been secured. As Romans 8:37 reminds us, in all these things we are more than conquerors through Him who loved us. This assurance of victory stems from the very nature of God. He is not a God of uncertainty or failure. He is the Creator, the Alpha and the Omega, the one who declares the end from the beginning, Isaiah 46:10. When He calls you, He equips you. When He promises victory, it is already written into the fabric of your destiny. But how do we live as though victory is already ours? First, we must recognize that the battle is not ours to fight alone. Throughout Scripture, God reassures His people that He is the one who goes before them. In 2 Chronicles 20:15, the Lord speaks to Jehoshaphat and the people of Judah, saying, "Do not be afraid or discouraged because of this vast army. For the battle is not yours, but God's." This truth is a source of immense comfort. Whatever challenges you face, whether they are physical, emotional, or spiritual, know that you are not fighting alone. God is with you, orchestrating every detail and ensuring that His purpose prevails. Consider the story of the Israelites crossing the Red Sea. From a human perspective, their situation was hopeless. Trapped between the sea and Pharaoh's advancing army, their defeat seemed inevitable. Yet Moses declared, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today." Exodus 14:13. God parted the sea, making a way where there was none. Their victory was not achieved by their own strength, but by their trust in God's power. This is the key. Victory begins with faith. It is not about having all the answers or the perfect strategy. It is about believing that God is greater than your circumstances. Faith allows you to see beyond the present struggle and into the reality of God's promises. As Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for, and assurance about what we do not see." Your confidence in God's victory becomes the foundation for every step you take. However, walking in victory also requires obedience. It is not enough to believe in God's promises, you must act on them. Look at Joshua in the Battle of Jericho. God promised Joshua that the city would be delivered into his hands, but the fulfillment of that promise required action. The Israelites had to march around the city for 7 days, following God's instructions to the letter. Their obedience combined with their faith unleashed God's power, and the walls of Jericho fell. What walls are standing in your way today? What battles seem insurmountable? Remember that victory does not come through your own strength, but through your willingness to trust and obey God. As Zechariah 4:6 declares, "Not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, says the Lord Almighty." Your role is to stay aligned with God's will, to listen for His guidance, and to move forward in faith, knowing that the victory is already yours. Another aspect of walking in victory is perseverance. While the outcome is assured, the journey may still involve challenges, delays, and setbacks. These moments are not signs of failure, they are opportunities to grow in faith and resilience. James 1:2-4 encourages us, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Victory is not just about the end result, it is about who you become along the way. Living in victory also means adopting a posture of gratitude and praise. Even before you see the breakthrough, begin to thank God for what He is doing. Praise shifts your focus from the problem to the provider. It reminds you of His faithfulness and strengthens your faith. Look at Paul and Silas in Acts 16:25-26. Imprisoned and chained, they began to pray and sing hymns to God. Their praise not only brought them peace, but also triggered a miraculous earthquake that freed them and opened the prison doors. Praise is a weapon of victory. Finally, remember that your victory is not just for you, it is a testimony to others. When you walk in faith, obedience, and perseverance, your life becomes a beacon of God's power and grace. Your victories inspire others to trust in Him, drawing them closer to His love. As Matthew 5:16 says, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." In every battle, every struggle, and every challenge, hold fast to this truth: the victory is already yours. Not because of your own efforts, but because of the God who fights for you. Stand firm in faith, move forward in obedience, and let your life be a testament to the power and glory of the one who never fails. Victory is not just possible, it is certain. Walk in it. As you walk through life, remember this: the promises of God are unshakable. His timing is perfect, and His plans for you are far greater than anything you could ever imagine. You are chosen, not forgotten. Every challenge you face, every obstacle in your path, and every moment of resistance is not meant to break you, it is meant to shape you, refine you, and lead you to the victory that is already yours. Victory in your life is not something you strive to achieve, it is something you embrace by faith. It is a divine assurance, written by the Creator Himself, that what is meant for you will come to you no matter who stands against you. The God who began a good work in you will see it through to completion. He has called you, equipped you, and empowered you to walk boldly into the destiny He has prepared for you. The journey may not always be easy. There will be moments of doubt, seasons of waiting, and times when the weight of the world feels too heavy to bear. But in those moments, remember this: you are never alone. The God who parted the Red Sea, who shut the mouths of lions, and who brought victory from the cross is the same God who fights for you today. Your story is not over. The best chapters are still being written. So stand firm in your faith, persevere through the trials, and trust in the one who holds all things in his hands. What is meant for you will come to you, even if the entire world stands against you, because God's promises never fail. Now, as you leave this moment of reflection and step back into the world, carry this truth with you: you are not defined by your circumstances or by the opinions of others. You are defined by the God who created you, who loves you, and who has called you for a purpose. Walk in confidence, not because life is without challenges, but because you know who walks beside you. Walk in faith, not because you see every step ahead, but because you trust the one who lights your path. And walk in victory, not because of your own strength, but because you know the battle is the Lord's and He has already overcome. May you go forward with a heart full of faith, a spirit of perseverance, and a renewed sense of purpose. Remember, no matter what you face, it will come to you even if everyone is against you. Because with God, all things are possible. Thank you, and may God bless you abundantly.